Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Ja,
did you get that
yes.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur's quote, and did you understand, or did you I
Oh
mean,
no, I didn't get around to that. No,
okay.
no. I
I
I
was
had to.
still running in my mind that
Sorry, I forgot to send it to you. Yesterday was a busy day, and so I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. It is okay, it's fine. It's okay.
I'll send it today though. Right.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I'll do Jaidwani and Haribol Chatamai Mataji. All right. Jai Shishi Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishram Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudev Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishram Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishram Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaurkishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedānta Ṭhākura Ki Jai Nityalala Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhattadas Raghunath Shara Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai Namachay Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. And for those who are following Akadashi today, Shri Utpana Akadashi Titi ki jai. Jai Srila Narahari Sarkar Thakur ki jai. Today Shubha Tirobhav Titi ki jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Jai Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeśāmṛta ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's 12 articles on the verses 2 and 3 of Upadeśāmṛta ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. Um, One second, let me just move back a little bit. I was going to read in my room because it's less distracting, but and I changed my mind last minute and I decided to go to the Goshala again. One second. Ah. All right, so we are continuing on. Today we are reading, for those who are coming for the first time, we've been reading the articles that Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura wrote on verses 2 and 3 of Upadeśāmṛta. Today we are going through the last part on Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura's like there are 6 things that impede bhakti, and today we're going through the 6th one. This is on the 2nd verse of Upadeśāmṛta. So this what is it? It's Laulya. I haven't read it yet either, so we're all reading it for the first time. All right, let's begin. Close this timer. Okay. First, let's go through the 6 impediments to bhakti, the original verse. Okay. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangaschalolyam cha sharbir bhak. One second. Okay. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangaschalolyam cha sharbir bhaktir vinashyati. Okay, so bhakti is destroyed by the following 6 kinds of faults. 1. Atyahara means eating too much or collecting more than necessary. 2. Prayas, that means endeavors that are opposed to bhakti. 3. Prajalpa, useless mundane talks. Niyamagraha, that's 4. Failure to adopt essential regulations or fanatical adherence to regulations. And 5. Janasanga, association with persons who are opposed to bhakti. And 6, this is what we're going through today, greed, Laulya. And we'll see if it explains this part, the restlessness of the mind to adopt worthless opinions. Yeah, we'll see how Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura explains that. Okay, so let's go through it. Here it is. Laulya, restlessness, greed, and desire. Laulya means restlessness, greed, or desire. Restlessness is of 2 types. 1, restlessness of the mind, and 2, restlessness of the intelligence. The mind, the chitta, has the propensity to follow the dictates of the senses. The mind's absorption in a sense object gives birth to attachment, to rag, or aversion, dvesh, to that object. The mind's absorption in a sense object gives rise to it gives birth to rag and dvesh, attachment or aversion. Restlessness of the mind is of 2 types. 1, restlessness that is dependent on attachment, to rag, and 2, restlessness that is dependent on aversion, dvesh. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 67 mentions. Oh, wait, and let me just see who's there. I didn't do that yet. Dandavat pranams, Archana Mataji, Chatamai Mataji, and Hari Krishna Prabhu, Nitai Mukeshji, Kana Haladar. Oh, and Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji. Dandavat pranams.
Haribo, Dandavat.
Dandavat, it's been a while, Haribo. Okay. So, Bhagavad Gita, and Dandavat pranams, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, and I see there are a few other devotees on YouTube and Facebook. I don't see your names. If you write a comment, I'll see who you are.
We're here visiting Rama. He's saying,
yeah, from Badger.
Oh, Rama, my God, it's been forever.
yeah.
All right. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, 67, on the topic of raga and dvesh, it mentions Indriyanam hicharatam yanmano nu vidiyate tasya harati asya harati pragyam vayur navam ivam bhasi. In the same way that wind sweeps away a boat, in the same way that wind sweeps away a boat on the water, when the mind focuses on any one of the senses that roam after sense objects, it can carry away the intelligence of an unfit person. Quelling the mind's restlessness through bhakti. It is So yeah, now people are trying all different types of ways to quell the mind's restlessness through meditation, but This is how to do it through bhakti. It is then mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 34, Indriyasyarte ragadvesho vyavastito tayor navasham agachet tohyasya paripantino. Attachment, rag, and aversion, dvesh, are latent within each and every sense object. A sadhak should not come under the control of either, as both are great enemies that create obstacles on the path of auspiciousness. To control greed in the form of a restless mind, one should take shelter of Mahadevi Śrī Hari Bhakti, the goddess of service to Śrī Hari. Sense objects are the cause of the mind's restlessness. And this restlessness is the principal obstruction to the practice of bhakti. Therefore, having related all sense objects to Bhagavan, the sadhak should transpose his attachment from sense objects to Bhagavan. In this way, the mind accepts the shelter of attachment to Bhagavan and becomes steadfast in Bhagavad Bhakti. The eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin are known as the 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, the Gyanendriya. And the speech, hands, legs, anus, and genitals are known as the 5 working senses, Karmendriya. So, the mind becomes steadfast in Bhagavad Bhakti when all 10 senses are graced with a devotional mood to Bhagavan. Form, taste, smell, touch, and sound are the objects of the senses. One must have aversion for those objects that are unfavorable for Bhagavad Bhakti, and attachment to those that are favorable. But the point here is this: how can the restlessness of the mind be eradicated as long as the restlessness of the intelligence has not been eliminated? It is thus necessary to first eliminate the restlessness of the intelligence. Once the intelligence is steadied and purified, it will control attachment and aversion on its own. So you have to go one level deeper, not just first. Okay. Intelligence. And intelligence is that tendency of minds that discriminates between what is spiritual, what is sat, and what is material, what is asat. It is of 2 types: resolute, vyavasayatmika, and irresolute, or many-branched, bahushaka. Resolute intelligence is single-pointed, or fixed, whereas irresolute intelligence is always divided and is of many types. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 41, this is explained as follows: Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushaka yanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. O son of the Kuru dynasty, the resolute intelligence of those who are on this path of bhakti is one-pointed. But the intelligence of those who are averse to bhakti branches endlessly. A person who is full of distress. Sorry, one second. Let me just for a little bit. Okay. Okay. So a person who is full of desires and who has irresolute intelligence craves many types of sense enjoyment. He becomes so absorbed in thoughts of worldly and heavenly sense gratification that he rejects the very existence of the spiritual world. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 44 therefore states, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam dayapahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samado na vidiyate. Those who are attached to enjoyment and opulence, and whose minds have been captured by the flowery words of the Vedas, do not attain the resolute intelligence for exclusive absorption in Sri Bhagavan. Their intelligence is neither fixed in knowledge. Their intelligence is neither fixed in knowledge of the self, Atma Tattva, nor is it regulated. Such intelligence is unfit for samadhi. Only those whose intelligence becomes fixed on Paramatma are known as Sthitta Pragya, of fixed intelligence, and Sthittadhi, of a steady mind. The characteristics of a person who possesses fixed intelligence and steadiness of a mind. Okay, so here's the characteristics of, Sthitta Pragya and Sthittadhi. Here's the characteristics. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verses 55 and 56, describes the characteristics of one whose intelligence is fixed, Sthitta Pragya, and whose mind is steady, Sthittadhi, as follows. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanevatmana tushta Sthitta pragyastarochyate dukkeshvanu mana sukeshu vigata spriha vittaraga bhaya krodha sthittadhir muniruchyate. O Arjuna, a person is said to be Sthitta Pragya when he properly renounces all desires that are situated in the mind and finds satisfaction in the self alone. A person whose mind is not bewildered by anxiety upon experiencing distress, who is entirely indifferent to happiness, and whose attachment, fear, and anger have been destroyed, is called a sage of steady that person is called a sage of a steady mind, a Sthittadhi. The first verse of Śrī Upadeśāmṛta has given the instruction to conquer 6 urges. We find these 6 urges echoed in the 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita mentioned above. Now, it is important to know that there are 2 types of intelligence. There's material intelligence, prakrit, and spiritual, aprakrit intelligence. The propensity to rely on the mind to discriminate between what is proper and what is improper is called material intelligence. That's prakrit buddhi. And the propensity to rely on the soul to discriminate what is proper and improper is known as spiritual intelligence, aprakrita buddhi. Some consider these 2 types of intelligence to be the same, but such an understanding is erroneous. Okay, so prakrita buddhi is the intelligence of the mind, and aprakrita buddhi is the spiritual intelligence of the soul. Material intelligence of the mind, spiritual intelligence of the soul. Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya parang mana manasastu para buddhir buddhirya paratastusa. It's chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 42. The senses are superior to the body, which is an inert object. The mind is superior to the senses, because it is only by the inspiration of the mind that the senses engage in action. The intelligence is superior to the mind. The intelligence is the function of the self and is therefore the controller or master of the mind. When subjugated by material false ego, this intelligence becomes perverted and material. When the intelligence is controlled by the living entity's pure, true ego of being a servant of Krishna, it remains pure, since that is its natural form. Therefore, it is mentioned in the Shruti that a self-realized person is known as intelligent, bodha. The pure intelligence is merely a function of the soul, who is a minute particle of spirit. Thus, the soul is superior to the intelligence. The might of the transcendental ego and spiritual intelligence. When the living entity understands himself to be a pure particle of spiritual existence, then the spiritual ego, I am Krishna's servant, naturally arises within him. At that time, the intelligence, having been established in its pure form due to the living entities being situated in his original nature and his original swarup, scorns material objects and honors spiritual objects. He then desires nothing other than service to Krishna. He rejects material lust, considering it extremely useless. It is in this stage that the living entity is known as Sthita Pragya and Sthitadhi. With the help of spiritual strength, the intelligence stabilizes itself after regulating the heart and mind and subjugates them. With the help of spiritual strength, the intelligence stabilizes itself and, after regulating the heart and mind, subjugates them. The mind then regulates the senses and brings them under its control, being commanded by the intelligence. The consciousness thus perceives the objects of the senses as being favorable for Krishna service. On the path of bhakti, this is known as Indriya Nigraha, or restraining the senses. The means to restrain the senses. The paths of dry knowledge and dry renunciation cannot fully control the senses. Bhagavad Gita 2:59 states, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasa parang drishtva nivartante. He who identifies himself with his body may restrict his enjoyment by withdrawing the senses from their objects, but his taste for sense pleasure remains. A person whose intelligence is fixed, however, has realized Paramatma. Therefore, his taste for sense objects automatically ceases. Those who refrain from accepting objects through the senses only give up the objects themselves, but they are not free from the desire for them. But higher than the pleasure of enjoying sense objects is the transcendental pleasure of being the servant of Krishna. Such service completely eradicates the contemptible pleasure of trying to enjoy sense objects. This is actual Indriya Nigraha, or bringing the senses under the control of the mind and regulating the mind by bringing it under the control of the intelligence. Through this method, Laulya, or restlessness of the intelligence and mind, is eliminated. The necessity of withdrawing the intelligence from Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and other paths headed by charity, and instead fixing it in Bhakti Yoga. The mind cannot be fixed if the intelligence is restless. Sometimes the mind runs towards the path of karma, sometimes towards the path of yoga, and sometimes toward the path of jnana. Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 20, verses 32 to 34, describes Bhagavad Bhakti as the only means to steady the intelligence. Yat karma bhir yat tapasa jnana vairagyatāścayat yogena dana dharmena shreyo bir itarair api sarvam bhakti yogena Marbhakto labatenjasa swargapavargamad dhama katanchid yadivanchati na kinchit sadavo dhira bhakta hekantino mama vanchantyapi maya dattam kaivalyam apunarbhavan. Whether it be the heavenly planets, liberation, my abode, or anything else, everything that is attained through fruitive activities, austerities, knowledge, renunciation, yoga, charity, religious duties, and other auspicious methods is easily achieved by my devotee. If he so desires, by performing bhakti yoga to me, my one-pointed, loving, and tolerant saintly devotees do not desire anything for themselves. Indeed, even if I desire to offer something to them, and even if I actually give them something, they do not want to accept it. By nature, their only fondness is for the happiness derived from performing service to me. Being mindful of all these points, a sadhak should keep restlessness, Laulya, at bay and fix his intelligence in bhakti. Okay, so now greed, the second meaning of Laulya. The second meaning of the word Laulya is greed, lobha. If we have greed for sense objects, but not for Krishna, then how is it possible to become fixed at his lotus feet? Our primary duty, therefore, is to try to become greedy to attain the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Performing the limbs of yoga, such as sense control, does not purify the greed arising from attachments to enjoying the sense. Performing the limbs of yoga, such as sense control, does not purify the greed arising from attachments to enjoying sense objects, to the extent that service to Sri Krishna does. Yes, the best way to control the senses is not through yoga, but yeah, you don't purify the greed through that. The most effective way is getting attachment to, yes, by serving Sri Krishna. So, Yamadibir yoga pathai kamaloba hato muhu mukunda sevaya yadvat tadatma dana shamyati. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 1.6.35. When the sadhak practices the limbs of yoga, the mind, which is always under the control of lust and greed, attains a certain level of happiness and peace. But this does not compare with the immediate and immense pleasure attained from service to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. By serving Sri Krishna, the sadhak's consciousness, which is constantly wounded by the blows of lust and greed, experiences a real peace that is not experienced by performing the activities of yoga marg like yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahara, dhyan, dharana, and samadhi. Through service to Krishna, the mind becomes stable without effort or delay, because the intelligence is peaceful when it is fixed on Bhagavan. Shamo man nishtita buddhe. That means equanimity is fixing the intelligence in me. That's from Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11th Canto, Chapter 19, verse 36. Greed for inferior objects cannot remain when a greed awakens to serve Krishna, to serve the Vaishnavas, and to chant the names of Bhagavan. When a fortunate person sees the Vrajavasi's mood of service to Krishna, a greed for that service awakens in his heart. By the grace of such rare greed, one attains the qualification to perform Raganuga Bhakti. The sadhak's inferior greed is eradicated to the degree that he develops greed for Ragatmika Seva. And there's a service here. Ragatmika Seva is the service of the residents of Braj, which is imbued with deep attachment, rag. Bhakti is diminished by maintaining a greed for eating palatable foods, chewing betel leaf, sleeping, smoking, and drinking alcohol. Greed for wealth, women, and drinking wine are diametrically opposed to bhakti. Those desirous of greed for pure bhakti should give up greed for the above-mentioned activities and objects. Greed for sense objects, whether sinful or pious, is extremely detestable. Greed for Krishna is the only cause of auspiciousness. Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 19, has given a beautiful description of the greed that saintly persons possess for topics concerning Bhagavan, Bhagavat Katha. Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yachrinvatang rasa jnanam Swadu swadu pade pade. O Sutta, our hunger for hearing the Lila Katha of Bhagavan, who is glorified by auspicious hymns, is never satiated. This is because, while hearing such narrations, listeners conversant with Ras experience newer and newer relish at every moment. This greed that has Krishna as its object is known as adar, affection. A detailed description of this will be given later. So now, desire. It's the third meaning of Laulya. What are the three meanings of Laulya? Wait, I just forgot the first one. Here, it's here on WhatsApp. Okay, restlessness, greed, and desire. So we went through restlessness, and now we went through greed, and now desire. Okay. The third meaning of Laulya is desire. It is of two types: the desire for enjoyment, for bhog, and the desire for liberation, for moksha. Unless one completely renounces these two desires, one cannot perform bhakti sadhan. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-22, Bhukti Mukti Sprihayavat Pishachi Hridi Vartate Tavar Bhakti Sukhasyatra Katam Abhyudayo Bhavet. The meaning is, as long as the two witches of the desires for material enjoyment and impersonal liberation remain within the heart of a sadhak, how can the happiness of unalloyed devotion awaken there? The desire for sense gratification. Seeing how it's okay. So now Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura is going to go through the desire for bhukti and the desire for mukti, for sense gratification and liberation. So first, this desire of sense gratification. The desire for sense gratification is of two types: worldly, ahika, and heavenly, paratrika. One's wife, children, wealth, kingdom, success, palatable foods, sleep, sexual intimacy, honor, and so on are all worldly sense objects known as ahika bhog. Residence in the heavenly planets, the nectareous beverages available in such planets, sense gratification fit for demigods, and other heavenly delights are known as paratrika bhog. As long as these two types of desires for enjoyment remain in the heart, a sadhak cannot selflessly perform Krishna bhajan. Therefore, desires for sense gratification should be completely uprooted and thrown from the heart. Otherwise, obstacles will appear in one's practice of bhakti. Appropriate renunciation. The matter to be considered here is that the above-mentioned objects of enjoyment can be accepted by householders in a non-sinful manner only if those objects are favorable for bhakti. In that case, they cannot be called objects of enjoyment. Rather, they are a sadhak's livelihood. This is kind of, Archana Mataji, this is kind of like that points that we were reading yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, about
Yes.
enjoyment, isn't it? Okay. Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verses 9-10 has been mentioned. Dharmasya hyapavargasya narthorthayopakalpate narthasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hi smrita kamasya nindriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa nartho yasceha karmabhi. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So it's okay. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry of the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So it is very important to take good care of this vehicle that we have, and so that, because if we don't, then we won't be able to focus the mind and serve and like that. This is also this body is not meant for enjoyment. It's meant for it's a object meant to be used in service of Krishna. Just like you should take good care of Krishna's archan paraphernalia, all the bells and and all of Krishna's pots, everything in the kitchen. In the same way, you should take care of your body, which is also paraphernalia for worshiping Krishna. Okay. By engaging in religious duties, dharma, as a means to attain material enjoyment, one obtains material wealth, artha. Through such wealth, one obtains sense gratification, kam, and its fruit, sense pleasure in this world and the heavenly planets. However, when one engages in religious duties aimed at liberation, the resultant wealth he obtains, as well as the sense gratification that he attains through such wealth, is always favorable for one inquiring about the absolute truth, tattva jigyasa. Interesting. This is because the fruit of religious duties of dharma and wealth, artha, is not sense gratification, but the satisfaction of Krishna's desires. Satisfying these desires of Krishna is known as tattva jigyasa, which is also known as yukta vairagya, appropriate renunciation. The desire for liberation. Okay, so that was a desire for enjoyment, and then first was the bad desire for sense gratification that we don't want. But then how do we dovetail that? And so then he explained appropriate renunciation. And now mukti. First was bhukti, now is mukti, the desire for liberation. It is absolutely essential that the sadhak completely renounce the desire for liberation, for moksha also. Moksha is of 5 types. 1. Living on the same planet as Bhagavan, that's Salokya. 2. Possessing the same opulences as Bhagavan, that's Sarshti. 3. Residing close to Bhagavan, that's Samipya. 4. Possessing the same form as Bhagavan, Swarupya. And 5. Merging into the impersonal effulgence or body of Bhagavan, that's Sayujya. Devotees regard Sayujya Mukti as greatly contemptible. Although Salokya, Sarshti, and Samipya, Sarupya Muktis are free from the desire to enjoy sense objects, they are undesirable. By the strength of bhakti, the living entity obtains liberation and freedom from material inert objects. Liberation, mukti, is but a secondary result of bhakti. The primary goal of sadhan bhakti is the attainment of pure love for Krishna, Krishna prem. At this point, one cannot conceal one's eagerness to cite the words of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, Salokyadi chari jadi hoy seva dwar, tabu kadachit bhakta kore angikar, sayuja shunite bhakter hoy ghrina bhoy, naraka banchaye tabu sajuja naloy. Brahme Ishvare Sajuja Duito Prakar, Brahma Sayuja Hoite Ishvar Sayuchadhikar. So this is from the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 6, verses 267 to 269, says, the essence of these statements is that by the desire of Bhagavan, devotees effortlessly attain mukti in the form of severing material relations. It is thus improper to contaminate the endeavor for bhakti with the desire for mukti. For this reason, it is a primary duty of the sadhak to be particularly careful to completely give up greed, to give up Laulya, that is averse to bhakti. Okay. Didn't really explain these verses though here. Salokyadi chari jadi hoy sevadvar tabu kadachit. So the devotees, they'll accept these four kinds of liberation: salokya, samipya, sarupya, sarshti. Like if for service, okay, it's not that they want them or that they're praying for them, but okay, whatever, it comes automatically, and the main thing is service. That's all they really care about. But as soon as a devotee hears Sayuja, that's merging in with the Supreme Lord, Guruna boy, they feel disgust and fear. They might desire, they can desire hell, but never will they ever desire Sayuja. Yeah, Sayuja is like hell for the devotee. Then Brahma, Ishvara, Sayuja, and then there's Brahma Sayuja and Ishvara Sayuja. And of the two, Brahma Sayuja's the Ishvara Sayuja is more contemptible, more like disgraceful than Brahma Sayuja. Ishvara Sayuja is merging in the body of the Lord, and Brahma Sayuja is merging in the effulgence of the Lord. So the two, Ishvara Sayuja is more contemptible. So the essence of these statements is that by the desire of Bhagavan, devotees effortlessly attain mukti in the form of severing material relations. It is thus improper to contaminate the endeavor for bhakti with the desire for mukti. For this reason, it is a primary duty of the sadhak to be particularly careful to completely give up greed, Laulya, that is averse to bhakti. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to. All right, today is also the disappearance day of Nārāyaṇa Sarkar Thakur. And yeah, we've concluded now the articles on the six things that impede bhakti, that are unfavorable to bhakti, that destroy bhakti. And tomorrow we will begin going through all the things that nourish bhakti. So tomorrow will be utsaha, enthusiasm. That's a really nice topic. I remember we had the Rūpa Gosvāmī conference in Vrindavan, and Manjulali Didi, my god sister, she gave a whole class on the topic of enthusiasm. It was really, really good. She made some really nice points in it. Anyhow, but that will be the topic that we go through tomorrow. Utsaha, enthusiasm. Now, oh yeah, Narahari Sarkar Thakur. Let's read about him. We'll just read a short thing. Okay. Where is it? I had it open. Oh, it's here. Let me just open up a new window. One second, sorry. Here. Okay, so this is this is short katha from Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Ṭhākura on Narahari Sarkar Thakur. So November 26th is the disappearance day of Śrī Narahari Sarkar Thakur in Vrindavan, India. The following is a Bhava Anubhava of the katha given by Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Ṭhākura on the same tithi on November 18, 2014. Never seen that picture before. It's beautiful. Okay. Actually, let me put this in a Word doc so I can make the text bigger. I'll just put it here. Sorry, one second. All right, now it's big. Today is a special tithi, the Tirobhav tithi of Śrī Narahari Sarkar Thakur, who is the younger brother of Śrī Mukunda Das. who was employed as a Raja Vaidya, the physician to the king. There is a mention of these physicians from Śrī Khanda. They would cure diseases of the body and of the soul, both, because they would give teachings of devotion unto the Supreme Lord, Hari Bhakti. Narahari is a Premika Bhakta. He is born in the family of physicians. He is a Premika Bhakti. He's a loving devotee filled with prem for Krishna. And he's born in the family of physicians. In Krishna Lila, Shri Narahari Sarkar is Madhumati Saki. Shri Chaitanya Dev awarded the service of the deity of Gopinath to Raghunandan. That's such a sweet story. I guess they have an endnote with the whole story there. He's a son of and to Shri Mukunda Das, Shri Chaitanya Dev asked Shri Chaitanya Dev asked to continue to earn for the family, working as a physician to the king. And his younger brother, Shri Narahari Sarkar, was ordered to stay with the Lord's devotees and preach. Shri Chaitanya Dev brought Shri Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita scriptures from his South India tour and handed them over to Shri Narahari Sarkar only. Today is his disappearance day. Oh, great. I'm trying to translate Brahma Samhita right now, so today's a good day for me to pray to Śrīla Narahari Sarkar Ṭhākura. I pray for his causeless mercy. On the Avirbhav and Tirobhav Titis of Vaishnavas, an opportunity has been given to pray for their causeless mercy. By my Param Gurudev, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur, and Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja. Knowing Param Gurudev's expertise in astrology, Babaji Mahārāja instructed him to draw the Navadvip Panjika with Vaishnav's titis. So accordingly, we can remember Vaishnavas and pray for their grace on their. There's a few more minutes, so let's look at what Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura says about Narahari Sarkar Ṭhākura. Once again, let's bring it up here on the screen. Where is it? There it is. Shri Chaitanya and his Associates by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Wait, let me make the text big so you can all see nicely. All right. Now, where is it? Narahari. There it is. Oh, wait, let me make this bigger still. Okay. Pura Madhumati Prana Saki Vrindavane Stita Adhuna Naradyakyata. Sorry. Adhuna Naraharakya Sarakara Prabhu Priya. This is Gorgonadash Dipika, verse 117. It says, Narahari Sarkar, the Lord's dear associates, was previously Radha's intimate girlfriend named Madhumati. Śrīla Narahari Sarkar Ṭhākura is counted as one of Chaitanya's branches on the desire tree of pure devotional service. By Mahaprabhu's desire, he took birth in a physician Vaidya family, blessing his family when he did so. He was foremost among the Lord's associates of the village of Śrī Khanda. Narahari's home is about 1 mile from the Śrī Khanda railway station near Katwa in the Burdwan district. Some of the other prominent residents of Śrī Khanda, who are devotees of the Lord Chaitanya, were Shri Mukunda, Shri Raghunandan, Shri Chiranjeev, Shri Sulochan, Shri Damodar Kaviraj, Shri Ramachandra Kaviraj, Shri Govinda Kaviraj, Shri Balaram Das, Shri Ratikanta, Shri Ram Gopal Das, Shri Pitambar Das, Shri Shachinandan, and Shri Jagadananda. Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī mentions many of these names as Chaitanya's branches that generously distributed the fruits of love of God. This is a bit longer, so I'm going to skip through different parts. Okay, so the scholar Bharat Malik has written the following Sanskrit verses about Narahari's appearance in a Vaidya family in his book Chandra Prabha. I'm going to skip this. Yeah, okay. So the author of Chaitanya Mangal, Lochan Das, who came from a remote village near Jamatpur, was Narahari's disciple. For this reason, Lochan Das writes that Shri Gadadhar Das and Narahari Sarkar Thakur were Mahaprabhu's dearest associates. On the other hand, in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur has not spoken at any length about the devotees of Sri Khanda. Shri Lochan Das Thakur has written the following about his guru in Sri Chaitanya Mangal. He says, Narahari Das Thakur is my worshipful master. He descended from an esteemed line of physicians. His body was permeated by love for Krishna, and he taught his disciples nothing other than Krishna Prema. He was previously known as Madhumati, one of Radha's dearest Sakhis in Vrindavan, a storehouse of sweetness. Now in the age of Kali, along with Gauranga, he has become the keeper of the storehouse of love for Radha and Krishna. After the death of his father, Nārāyaṇa Das, Narahari's older brother Mukunda arranged for him to study in Navadvip. It is said that, in fact, Mukunda also worked as a physician to the Badshah in order to meet his family expenses. Narahari quickly became very learned, as well as a connoisseur of the flavors of devotional sentiment. Even before becoming Mahaprabhu's associate, he composed songs glorifying Radha and Govinda's pastimes. When Srila Gadadhar Pandit Goswami was constantly by the Lord's side, engaged in his service, Narahari had the good fortune to enter into his association. Narahari Sarkar Thakur's personal service was to fan the Lord with the yak-tail whisk. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura, Mahaprabhu's personal associate, confirmed this in his Gaur Arti. Narahari adi kori chamara dhulai, Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Ghoshayadigai. Narahari and the other residents of Sri Khanda fanned with the chamar, while Sanjaya, Mukunda, and Vasu Ghosh sang. Narahari wrote several books, including the Bhakti Chandrika Patal, Shri Krishna Bhajanamrita, Shri Chaitanya Sahasranam, Shri Sajjana-toṣaṇī, Śrī Sajjana-toṣaṇī, Śrī Radhashtak, etc. All of these are well known and thought of highly by the devotees. The following story is told about Narahari. Once, when Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu came to his house in Sri Khanda, they suddenly expressed a desire for honey. Narahari demonstrated his miraculous powers by transforming the water in a pond near his house into honey. Ever since he quenched the Lord's desire for honey with water from his ponds, it has been known as Madhu Pushkarini. The Lord gave Narahari the order in a dream to install 3 deities of himself, which are currently worshipped in Sri Khanda, Katwa, and Ganga Nagar. Narahari Sarkar Thakur also participated in the Lord's activities in Puri. He and the other residents of Sri Khanda were amongst those who went every year with Shivananda Sen. It's in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 1:132. When Mahaprabhu returned to Puri after his pilgrimage to South India, where he had saved so many people by giving them love for Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu sent Kala Krishnadas back to Bengal to tell everyone that Mahaprabhu was back. The Bengali devotees immediately made arrangements to go to Jagannath Puri to see the Lord. The residents of Sri Khanda, the Khandavasis, were counted amongst them. And now he goes through all the... Anyways, Mukunda, Narahari, and Raghunandan from Sri Khanda arrived at Advaita Acharya's house to go to Nilachal. It's from chapter 10 of Madhya Lila. This is now... Okay, I'll just read. After the Snan Yatra, Lord Jagannath would not be available for darshan. At a separation from the Lord, Mahaprabhu would go to Alanath, and he returned to Puri when he heard that the devotees from Bengal were arriving there. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Gopinath Acharya to identify the Lord's devotees, he mentioned the names of Narahari, Mukunda Das, Raghunandan, Chiranjeev, Sulochan, and other Khandavasis as most dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's from Madhya Lila, chapter 11. During the Rath Yatra festival, the Lord formed 7 kirtan groups with the devotees from Bengal. One of these was composed uniquely of the devotees from Sri Khanda. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes that Nārāyana Sarkar Thakur and Raghunandan were the dancers for this group. That's chapter 13 of Madhya Lila. When the Lord gave Mukunda, Raghunandan, and Narahari directions for service, he told Narahari to remain in the association of devotees. That's from chapter 15 of Madhya Lila. Many people confuse Nārāyana Sarkar Thakur with the author of Bhakti Ratnakar, Narahari Chakravarti. The latter, who is known as Ganasham Das, was born in the district of Murshidabad. His father's name was Jagannath Chakravarti, and he was a disciple of Vishwanath Chakravarti. On Govindaji's order, he was engaged as the cook for the Govinda temple and was known as the cooking pujari, the Rasuya Pujari in Braj. We're adding in a couple songs written by Nārāyana Sarkar Thakur into the Nugoriya Kitigucha. But yeah, Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura gives one song composed by Narahari. Aulo Gora Punahi Nadiapur. Hauta Manahi Ulas. Aiche Ananda Kanda Kiye Herabo. Koro Bahi Kirtana Vilas. Hari Hari Kamaha Kabo Hama Herabo So Mukha Chand. Viraha Payodi Kabu Dina Pan Robo. Tutobo Hridayaka Bandha. Sorry, I'm not singing it. I'm just Kundana Kanaka Panti Ke Baherabo Jagya Ki Sutra Viraj Bahu Jugala Tuli Hari Hari Bolovo Natana Bhakata Ganamaj Eto Kohi Nayan Mudi Bahu Sabojan Gaur Prema Bhelo Bor Nara Hari Dasa Ash Pabo Purabo Herabo Gaur Kishore. If Gaur came back to Nadia town, my mind would be filled with joy. Then I would see him, the source of all joy, performing his kirtan pastimes. Hari Hari, when will I again gaze upon that moon-like face? When will the day come when the dam holding the ocean of separation in my heart breaks? When will I see the golden form of the Lord wrapped in his Yagya Sutra? Lifting my arms in the air, I will shout, Hari Hari, and dance in the midst of the devotees. Saying such things, many of Gaur's devotees close their eyes and merge into love for him. When will Narahari's desires be fulfilled? When will he gaze again upon the form of the young Gaur? Narahari disappeared in around 1514 AD in the month of Agrahayan on the Krishna Akadashi day. Srinivasacharya officiated at his funeral ceremony. Nityananda Prabhu's son, Virabhadra Goswami, and many other important Vaishnavas were in Sri Khanda to celebrate Narahari's disappearance feast, which is described in Bhakti Ratnakar. Some people said, so this is what happened on this day today, at his disappearance feast. Some people said, brothers, do not leave right away. An ocean of prema will flood over in Sri Khanda in a few days, on the 11th day of the waning moon of Agrahayan, when Narahari Thakur disappeared. A great festival will be held here. See this festival that is going on to start in the next 3 or 4 days to the full satisfaction of your eyes. That's Bhakti Ratnakar, chapter 9, 512 to 514. Jai Shri Narahari Sarkar Thakur ki Jai. Haribol. All right, so that's our program for today. I'll just do a short Mahamantra and we'll end. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Param Guru Dev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Swapar Shad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrindadevi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Narahari Sarkar Thakur Ki Jai. Tadiya Shubha Tirobhav Titi Ki Jai. For those who are following Akadashi today, Shri Utpanna Akadashi Titi Ki Jai. Some people are following tomorrow for Mahadvarashi, but yeah. Jai Shri Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's Upadeśāmṛta Ki Jai. The articles by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura on Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī's Upadeśāmṛta Ki Jai. Jai Shri Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Śrīla Bhakti Tirtha Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Rai. Hridai Krishna Vashaja. Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Sattvatai. Pancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhu Daivacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Dandavat Pranams, Archana Mataji, Chatamai Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, Nrihari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Kana Haladar Prabhu, Gokuleshwari Didi, and Gurunishta Prabhu. Hari Bol. And let's see on YouTube and Facebook, there's 6 devotees there. See Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Vidyalala Sadidi. I'm guessing Indira Mataji, and a bunch of other devotees. Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. Is there anything that anybody wants to mention before I end today's stream? Chatamai Mataji saying, appreciating the concept of dance as service to the divine couple. Narahari must have been an outrageous dancer. Yes, definitely. And Raghunandan Thakur also. Uncle and nephew. All right, yeah. Does anybody have any other points they like to mention? Nope. All right. So see you all tomorrow to read about Utsaha. These next, these past 6 days, we've been reading all about all the articles and things that destroy bhakti. It's all been like, more negative things. Now it's all the positive things which nourish bhakti. So yeah, this will be very much looking forward to it. All right. Hari Bol.